All right, welcome back to Eckler's Garage. I'm Elliot, that's Ron, and this is Mike. Mike is our head tech at Eckler's. He's going to join us today. We're going to be talking about installing a fiberglass bumper on a C3 Corvette. We're actually going to be taking a later model, putting it on an earlier model. And what we want to go through is what to expect when you take this out of the box and kind of what the process is as we go through this. So I'll kind of let these guys take over and start talking a little bit.
Go ahead, Mike, why don't you explain a little bit about that?
Hi guys. Yeah, we wanted to explain to you, when you get it out of the box, this is exactly what it looks like. This is a hand laminated product, but you know, it comes out of a mold. So there's going to be a little bit of work that's involved to make this thing ready for paint. You know, we say prime paint, you're ready to go. It's not your typical Honda bumper where you can just plug and play, so it takes a little bit of work. And don't forget, this is a custom piece. You know, the cars from the factory originally had urethane bumpers. So, you know, a hard fiberglass piece is a little bit different, a little bit more of a challenge to get it on your car. But we're going to show you, you know, how to do it. What we did want to point out this morning was when you get it out of the box, some of the things to look for and to realize that it's just all part of the process. One of the things on this bumper is that on the side, I wanted to show you the mold marks. Okay. I wanted to show you the mold marks on here. Now you see some sanding that had been taking place at the manufacturer. This is just something they do in the quality process. And this line right here, this is going to have to be sanded down with a DA with 80 grit paper. This is also a mold line across the top that Ron's just pointing out on the small spoiler in the back. This should be rounded off, and of course there's extra material here from the mold. Again, it's just going to have to be sanded off and primed. A lot of times there'll be small voids in the product because it is a hand laminated product. You know, they use a reverse mold on this so that they have to actually jam the fiberglass down into the mold. So on these very tight corners in here and around the tail lights, anywhere where there's a very tight corner up in here, there'll end up to be voids on this side between the gel coat and the material itself. They usually try to find these in the quality process before they box it up. And you'll see spots where they actually backed it up with regular Bondo polyester filler, and then they hit it with some lacquer primer. So when you get it out of the box and there's lacquer primer spots, don't think that it's a used part. This is just something that happens to the molds, and it's a normal process that we have to deal with. But again, it's all part of the process.
Yeah, and to sand it, all you need is a block and some 80 grit, and you'll see the line will sand right down. It's really simple. I'm not going to finish that, but you can see already the line is almost gone already. But just be sure you use a block so you don't make a lot of deep gouges in there. And I wouldn't use anything. And you can start seeing the fiberglass through the gel coat.
Right.
And as I sand it down.
And that's the other thing too. This has got 30 mils of gel coat, spray gel coat in the mold. And a lot of times you'll get down past the gel coat, and when you look at it, you can see through it. Nothing wrong with the product. There's 3 layers of glass mat that's built with this product. That's actually one more than most of the manufacturers make. So when you can see daylight through it, it's not that there's anything wrong. You just sand it down through the gel coat. Once you prime that well, the light will go. You won't be able to see through it again. There will be some of this. The transition right here is a pretty step one. You may have to fill that in with some body filler, which is normal part of the process. You also have to mate it up to your car, so you may find that the lines aren't exactly right. And we'll show you that later on.
All right, guys, this bumper is off of, for an 80 to 82. Mm-hmm. This is a 77. So one of the issues is if you look inside here, the 77 had bumperettes, and if you look at, we have a 77 bumper over there that we'll show you in a couple of minutes, you can see. So this is going to have to come off, and this is going to have to come off.
Right.
A couple of half-inch bolts, and they'll come right out, and we'll show you that in a moment. But if you look, the bumper will not fit up against the car. It starts hitting things. Right. It hits the bumperettes, it hits this piece in here, and it won't let the bumper go flush against the car. So we're going to remove those. And then we can fit the bumper to the car, see how it fits.
And while they're maneuvering around, we already took off the passenger side bumperette and the centerpiece. So, I mean, you can see this is what it looks like. With that 80 to 82 bumper, these will not fit on.
These bolts come off pretty easy by hand, but because it's hot in here and we want to get done, we're going to use fast tools.
That's what the front reinforcements look like that you may want to remove. We've also removed the taillight housings because you got to remember the bumpers originally were urethane, so they couldn't support the weight of the taillight. These were affixed to the top of the bumper, which we've already taken off, and they will definitely get in the way of your fiberglass bumper. And you want to mount the taillight, which we'll show you later. We'll mount the taillight. All right, so we have removed. We've removed all the supports on the corners for the earlier bumper, because the original bumper had the bumperettes on the side, and of course the later one doesn't have it. So we removed it. Now we're going to have to continue to adjust the bumper. We've got a pretty good line across the top of the corners throughout.
Yeah, but you can see, I mean, this is right here, you're going to have to do cleanup. It's not going to fit perfectly. And again, like Mike said earlier, this isn't made specifically for this car, so you're going to have to do some modifications and some work to make it fit properly.
Well, all this should be, from here, is all relatively the same for the years.
Correct.
So this should, but they all, like I said, it's not an original.
Right.
The urethane bumpers were made like that on purpose so you could fit them onto the car, because every Corvette body is not exactly the same.
Yeah, they're all molded up just a little bit differently. What I did want to show you on this was one of the tricks that we learned in my shop was that, you know, these quarter panels down here have a little bit of flex, but you see you've only got a little bit and you can start hearing a crack. What we've got, in some instances when the mold, when they were drawn in too tight, they won't fit up in the bumper. Now this one fits up really nice, but we have a pretty good gap at the top. We'll have to deal with that later. But if it was too wide at the bottom, okay, or you needed it to come out a little bit more, there's a splash apron that's on the inside that's bonded to the fender right about here. And we've gone in with a cutoff wheel, we've cut the material away, which will allow this whole panel to flex back out. Once you get it bolted to your fiberglass bumper, you can go back in, use bonding adhesive or an epoxy adhesive, and go back in and recreate the line for your splash apron. So that makes it a real easy fix. You don't have to add a lot of Bondo to the car or to your bumper to make it fit up right here. So it'll fit well.
The other thing we're going to do with this bumper, this bumper is going to end up bolted onto the car, so these lines are going to disappear. So
right. Let's see. Okay, that's. And I'm putting a little bit of stress on it right now, but you know this you can see the line is pretty good up here. And again, the definition of your panel on the car has got a definite character line right here. The one on this one isn't the same way. So if you want to build that character line back, you can always go back and add the plastic filler, or even with the short string gorilla hair if you want to build this back up to get a nice transition from your car to your bumper. Ron's going to bond this one directly to the car, so the fit here isn't going to be as critical because he can run it back into the bumper. What I did want to show you on this was that the back of the car has, did you have the retainers that came off that? Okay, so when these cars are fitted up, okay.
I think the retainers are actually, the retainers are just metal retainers.
Right.
That go in there for the urethane bumpers.
And you don't really want to use the original metal style retainers because it's on a big track that goes down the side of the car and it has one that goes across the front and it's all studded. It's meant as a reinforcement for the urethane bumpers, but it's very difficult to work with on the hard fiberglass pieces. So we've created a retainer, a T-bolt retainer, and you can affix them to the bumper either by rivets, and you drill a hole, slide your stud through, and then rivet the piece on. You can use a flush mount rivet, and what will happen is it will give you about a 1/16 of an air gap between a bumper, and I've done it that way before, and it gives the car a finished look. Or you can flush mount it and bring it real close together so that there's just a character line in here, that there's not an air gap. Either way, you can do it either way. This is the This is the T-bolt kit that we sell for this bumper. Okay, and you can see that it's got 2 extra holes in it. And once you, say, drill a hole in the bumper, you can affix it with those 2 small holes with the rivets. And the heads of the rivets will stick through here, which will give you your air gap, if you really wanted to do it. If you wanted it flush, you can put this in, use the epoxy bonding adhesive, slide it through, hold it in place for a few minutes, and it will be there forever. Then you don't have to use your rivets. And really, it's just a mounting point, because after you put the nut on the car, on the back side of this thing, it's never going to move. It's never going to come apart again. Okay. One trick we've done in our shop that I wanted to show was that the back side of the bumper does have these index marks in it. They're kind of hard to see. I had them actually with me, but there's little marks that they actually put in the molds, and these replicate where the holes are in the body, but not necessarily all the time, and especially since we're changing from year groups, because we're going from an early car to a later bumper. So these holes may not line up, so you don't want to drill them automatically. What I've done at the shop is that we run a piece of masking tape across the back of the car and along down the sides. We put an index mark with a magic marker across here. Then we lay the bumper up on the car.
Let's go ahead and do that, then we can...
Yeah. We lay the bumper up on the car, and then we index across exactly where the holes are, and that will tell us where to drill the holes in the bumper. So it makes it real easy. You can slot the holes just like it is in the back of the car. Okay, so I'm going to index where the holes are. Trying to go in the center of the hole, because these holes are belong on the car, because like I say, nothing was perfect from the factory, so we may end up slotting the holes on the bumper if we wanted to put it on. That's pretty close like that. And then we can run the index marks right here. Pull this off in a second, just the rings here to see. Okay, now as you can see where my index marks are and where the factory holes aren't exactly where, like this one's right here and my index mark is here, so I'm probably at least a 1/4 inch out from the mold mark. So you don't always want to drill a hole in the bumper first and then try to fit it to your car. You always want to do it this way. This way you know when you slide your pieces through, your T-bolts through, that everything's going to line up good for you. Okay? And this is a flex fit bumper, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And that's the other thing too. It's a flex fit to the point where it's got probably 3 to 5% more give in it than our standard rigid fiberglass bumper. But it's not as soft. You can't bend it in a pretzel like you could the urethane bumpers. I just wanted to make folks aware of the fact that when they get them, that they're going, oh my God, they're really rigid. Yet, well, it's flexed to the point. And the reason why we created a flex bumper was for small impacts. If you're driving a car on a daily basis, or you use it more than just a trailer queen, the cars are going to, they're going to get damaged. And so, with the advent of the flex fit, it allows an impact so that if we use the hard fiberglass bumper, you're going to get a hole in the fiberglass. When you use a flex fit, it's more likely you're going to get damage, but it won't be nearly the damage that you would on a standard hard fiberglass part. Okay?